What have you done here?
Alright, today is all about uncovering some of the craziest moments to have ever gone down in MasterChef. And to get things started, let's head straight to Season 4. During the intense Glee Lunch Challenge, poor Bime found himself in the middle of a blame game. Despite Chef Ramsay revealing that their team got more votes for the chicken, Bime's teammates pointed fingers at him for serving raw chicken.
You actually beat the red team hands down. 56 portions of chicken and 30 preferred your chicken.
Little did they realize that it was actually Jordan's poorly made salmon that caused their team's loss.
Between the red team and the blue team, you served 54 portions of salmon. 52 out of 54 preferred the red team's salmon. 2 votes. You won the chicken and you got destroyed with the salmon.
What the f, Jordan? You had one job to make that salmon great, and you put out a pile of
Talk about misdirected frustration. But the shocking moments didn't end there. In the lemon meringue pie pressure test, Bime made a legendary mistake that would go down in MasterChef history. Instead of using cornstarch to thicken his curd, he added cream of tartar. And, well, unfortunately for him, Chef Ramsay happened to see everything.
I had my cornstarch in there, and I'm whisking, and I'm looking down, I'm thinking, this curd is not thickening up yet. Like, what's going on?
Look, he put cream of tartar instead of cornstarch. And that's what, look, it's not getting thick.
The curd hadn't set properly when he went to cut it. In an audacious move, Chef Ramsay did something crazy.
What have you done here?
He poured the unset curd into cocktail glasses and challenged Bime to taste it with him. Surprise, surprise, the curd turned out terribly grainy. The blame in the end fell on Chrissy and her selfish decision to save herself, leaving poor Bime in the pressure test. Oh, the twists and turns of MasterChef. You never know what's going to happen next. Just like how one would never guess that Chef Ramsay was in desperate need of a break from television.
And there's that moment in your mind, right, time out. I was 25 years of age.
I needed a time out. Chef Ramsay believes that although he's just being transparent on all of his shows, people seem to think otherwise. In order to clarify his stance, he said,
Because I forgot the cameras. And people say, why do you get so upset? I said, no, that's the same. When we're on or off camera, that's me. So don't, I'm not going to play up for the sake of it. I'm passionate about what I do.
Did you need that?
And speaking about his blunt criticism, which often comes under the scanner for being obnoxiously wry, he said,
Would you be so kind to pass me the raw lamb? I'll serve it to the fucking dog for dinner. I just, no, you muppet. Get your shit together or fuck off.
Oh, we get it, Chef Ramsay. You don't have to explain yourself. And guess who else thought they didn't have to explain themselves? Yup, no points for guessing. I'm talking about Chrissy from Season 4. So, things got pretty heated up in episode 23 during the Mystery Box Challenge when she got paired up with Jessica. And Jessie, for all the right reasons, wasn't too happy about it.
Worst nightmare just happened right before my eyes. I'm stuck with the thing. She doesn't work with other people at all. Like, she has no concept of team.
No denying that. Chrissy was probably one of the most hated people ever on the show, and the hate wasn't for no reason. It's not new that everyone found it hard to be with her. Mean, nasty, and definitely not the type to take accountability. That's Chrissy for you. So when Jessie and Chrissy got paired up for the challenge, things didn't really go smoothly when Chrissy decided to give a few suggestions on what to cook. You see, Jessie wasn't really on board with her idea, and Chrissy, she wasn't ready to back down.
She has in her head what she wants to do. She's not considering anything that I have proposed.
Maybe it was for the best. Maybe the suggestions weren't fitting. Did you ever feel the same way? Anyway, things just kept getting worse when Chef Ramsay checked in and Chrissy revealed a dish with both asparagus and beans in it. This left Chef Ramsay slightly puzzled, as he found the combination absolutely unnecessary. So he questioned Jessie about it, further adding to the unfolding drama.
I didn't know you were doing the green
It's just for...
Hold on. You didn't know she was doing the green beans.
I missed that part, I never...
Ladies, are you together?
Oh boy, they were on the same team but didn't even know what they were serving. Chill out, Chrissy, we all know you're a bully, you didn't have to openly admit it. I mean, openly admitting to wanting to smash someone's face is a bit much. We all get mad, but we don't go around talking about stuff like that so openly, you know? But then, in a fit of rage, you won't believe what she did next.
Got to get out of this kitchen right now or I am seriously going to go to jail today.
That's right, she just gave up and left, just like that. Apparently, she only took a 5-minute cool-off break, but according to an interview, Graham claimed that she took a whole 20 minutes to get back to the station. In the meantime, poor Jessie was left to do all the work alone. When Chrissy finally came back, there wasn't much for her to do, really, and all she could really care about at that time was how she was gonna kick Jessie's ass in the pressure test. But what was really bothersome about this whole situation was it was time for the dishes to be judged. Chef Ramsay found the lamb fat wasn't well done, and apparently Chrissy really thought it was a smart move to add her thoughts about it.
The lamb was not cooked properly, in my opinion.
Chef Ramsay wasn't a fan of her unsolicited opinion, and he made sure to call her out.
Chrissy, why do you always let other members in your team take over?
And nope, he didn't stop there.
Say nothing, but then throw them under the bus when it comes to taking responsibility.
It was like Chrissy was allergic to taking responsibilities and only found fault in others. Safe to say, because of her little tantrum, the team lost that night. And that's what she deserved after everything that happened. But hey, let's keep things moving. When it comes to picking fights, it seems like Chrissy wasn't the only one. But before I reveal more, why don't you take a moment and drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my notifications to stay updated with all of my latest posts. And hey, did you check the tab right here? You can now become a member of the channel and stand a chance to win some cool perks all through the year. What's more, my channel's Discord server is up and running, and it's the perfect platform to keep the discussion going. So don't forget to check it out, and with that, let's take a look at what happened during the Mystery Box Challenge of Episode 2 of Season 5. Funnily, Elizabeth and Leslie engaged in a verbal duel, and you won't believe why. So Elizabeth was working at her station when Chef Ramsay decided to pop in and ask a question that was sure to cause some drama.
Who's gonna screw up tonight?
But Elizabeth didn't hesitate to give an answer either. It looks like Elizabeth had some problem with Leslie because she didn't think even a second before answering that question. And when Chef Ramsay asked why him, her answer wasn't something you'd expect.
Because he likes to flap his jaws and not cook so much.
So he talks too much and doesn't produce.
That's one hell of a reason if I'm being honest. I mean, saying he's gonna fail, not because of skills, but because of his personality, wasn't an appropriate excuse. I mean, it's a cooking show. Does it really matter if he talks too much? He's there to show his skill in the game, so aside from judging how well he cooks, nothing else should be of any concern. Clearly, that wasn't how Elizabeth saw things. Of course, Leslie heard it all, and he wasn't putting up with the fact that he was being attacked for literally no reason. So how does he clap back? Take a look at this.
I've never said anything to you, Elizabeth, never once. You want to get ugly? Let's get ugly. You don't know where the hell I've been.
Oh no, he was not having it. Someone he had never even spoken to was just being a jerk for no reason. Now, who in their right mind would be okay with that? He kept going, but so did she.
You live in Malibu.
She was trying to imply that because he lived in Malibu, he clearly was a stranger to struggles. But hey, just because you're bitter about your own life, you don't have to judge others for their accomplishments. That's just pure jealousy right there. And Leslie, he wasn't gonna take it lightly.
Last 10 seconds.
Facts right there. Luxury doesn't come easy. If you are born poor, you have to work hard to earn it, and if you're born with a silver spoon, you still have to work hard to keep it. Either way, you gotta work your ass off, and Leslie did just that. But Elizabeth's bitterness kept pouring out.
I worked so hard to get where I am. Obviously, your wife works, and you don't.
Astrid from Season 1 was quite a character in her own right. During the second round of auditions, she was seen doing something so disgusting that it became a legit matter of concern. What was it, you ask? Take a look yourself.
Did she cook like?
That's right. Those were literal food scraps, just chilling on the floor everywhere, completely out of place. I'm pretty sure MasterChef provides each station with a trash can. How hard was it really to actually use it? Even contestants were appalled by her unsanitary working conditions, but not just them, Joe as well, and he wasted no time in letting her know.
This is disgusting. This is not how you work in restaurants.
Like the whole situation was totally unacceptable, and he wasn't done yet.
Everyone listen up a second. We're not gonna tolerate disgusting working conditions. We have sanitary standards. This is dangerous, and I'm just not gonna tolerate it.
But hey, he wasn't wrong. There's a certain standard you gotta keep, especially on national television. I mean, what made her think it was completely okay to throw the scraps on the floor like that? Has she ever even heard of the word hygiene? And guess what? Before Joe left, he had one final blow to give.
Take this as a warning, because if you were in my kitchen, you'd be taking a taxi home.
Absolutely right. Once again, I'm pretty damn sure this kind of behavior is completely unacceptable in a restaurant. It can lead to a major cross-contamination, and who knows, someone might just slip and fall over it. I mean, under such working conditions, it's not just the customers, even the kitchen staff can land in the hospital. But hey, at least she was mature enough to accept her mistake and do better. Not a lot of people on the show have done that. And definitely not this next contestant. So, in episode 7 of season 5, the contestants were paired up in two by Courtney as the winner of the previous challenge, and Cutter was paired up with Dan to cook a surf and turf meal. But inside the pantry, they seem to have a little trouble communicating.
Two separate, you see what I'm saying? If you're doing vegetables and fish, I'm doing protein and meat. We're not marrying the dishes together.
Apparently, Dan refused to listen to Cutter's ideas, and what's more is that he was still clueless about what veggies he needed to use. The guy's brain had completely shut down, as Cutter would like to say. As a result, when the time was up for pantry ingredients, both Cutter and Dan failed to get enough ingredients to cook their surf and turf meal, forcing them to cook an incomplete and underwhelming surf and turf meal. And when Chef Ramsay came in to check and see how things were going, he was quite concerned seeing how things were between the two.
Are we definitely on the same page? Guys, are we okay?
Chef Ramsay's concern compelled Cutter to lay it all out.
No, I ain't okay. I ain't gonna lie. No, I ain't okay. Dan goes off on a wild tangent in the pantry, and by the time we got out of there, we ran out of time. And so now it's basically a mystery box now.
Because of the lack of enough ingredients, it was like a mystery box challenge for Cutter. So when it was time for their dish to get judged, you can kind of guess how it must have gone.
What in the is that?
I told him I didn't like it. He just starts grabbing. And this is what you get. Ran out of time in the pantry.
And nope, he didn't stop just there.
You didn't get enough ingredients to really make anything work.
Because you didn't have an idea. You didn't have anything reeled in what you wanted to do. You were just grabbing stuff. You kept telling, we'll get it as we go. We'll get it as we go.
Still, Chef Ramsay wasn't satisfied with the excuse and said that they still had filled up their baskets in the pantry, so they must have had something to work with. And honestly, I couldn't agree with him more, but not according to Dan.
There was nothing we could do in terms of ingredients. We had what we had. So the way this dish tastes, I will take responsibility for it.
But I think it actually came out decent.
Regardless if ingredients Cutter insisted that the dish tasted pretty well, but Chef Ramsay, he wasn't exactly on board with that opinion once he tasted the dish.
Even separate identities, it still doesn't work. That is possibly one of the worst dishes in this competition so far.
That's gotta hurt, but hey, that's what you get for not thinking fast enough. Contestants just can't catch a break with the judges, whether it's their behavior or their dish. They always seem to be getting on the judges' nerves, much like what this next contestant did. So, in the 13th episode of season 2, Susie was all like super confident with her dish, thinking she had it in the bag, you know? But little did she know, things were about to go south real fast for her, like a major takedown was coming her way, and it was gonna be rough. Why do I say that? For starters, the dish straight up looked like someone took a dump on a plate, no joke. I mean, it was like a culinary crime scene or something, total disaster. Chef Ramsay totally didn't see that coming with the dish, but he decided to give it a shot anyway. Well, let me tell ya, he regretted that move real quick, like super pronto. It was one of those should-have thought twice moments.
As a gravy.
Oh man, he totally flipped out. The dish wasn't even a proper dish, just a mishmash of spices thrown in the mix. I'm talking about a flavor explosion that could light up someone's backside. Like, seriously. It was a spicy bonanza that left tongues tingling and eyebrows raised. Chef Ramsay couldn't even handle another nibble of that mess. And what he had to say about the dish was nowhere near nice. His words were just brutally honest, no sugarcoating.
Okay.
One word for that. Quite possibly the worst sauce.
Entire life? Now that's extreme. If he had said just on the show, it'd have still been better. But to say that it was the worst sauce he ever had in his entire life? That just goes on to show that this dish was just plain disgusting. It was so bad that he straight up labeled it as dog food. If I was Susie, I'd bury myself alive right then and there. And you best believe when Joe came up to taste the dish, he pretty much destroyed Susie's remaining bits of hope. If there was any left, that is. And he went on and on and on.
This show is called MasterChef, not Delusional Chef. What do you know about German sauces and German cuisine? This is a freaking disaster.
No doubt, if someone takes a bite of that dish, their taste buds are bound to go wild, screaming for help, just like I'm pretty sure Joe's did too. The man was so disappointed that he wished she went home that night. Even if she didn't catch the boot, you bet this memory is gonna be etched in her brain, like forever. She'll be replaying that epic fail in her mind, getting hit with flashbacks every time. And of course, I've saved our best for the last. In episode 19 of season 10, things got crazy, but this time, not because of the contestant. Dorian presented her dish, and safe to say, she was confident and rightfully proud of it.
The must is to almost over-season. I think these home cooks are gonna underestimate how much season you truly need to make an impact.
It looked beautiful for sure, and I'm not the only one to think that.
Flavor. Yep.
There we go. Let's go, Sarah. Come on, go.
Chef Ramsay was completely in love with how the dish looked. It was perfect from all angles. It goes without saying, when Chef Ramsay compliments your dish like that, it means it's a success. He wasn't the only one singing praises though.
It's 12 minutes gone, 48 minutes to go. Come on, let's go. Focus.
Even before tasting the dish, they were all praises, and that speaks volumes. But of course, someone had to create some drama, and who better than Joe? Apparently, he had a problem with her dish. He didn't like the fact that the dish contained garlic bread, claiming it cheapened it. And what do you know, Chef Ramsay was in total disbelief.
How you doing, Sarah?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing awesome. Stay focused.
All right. No such thing as garlic bread in Italy? Then are the Italians serving it wrong? Or do they just not know their own culture? Chef Ramsay wasn't having it. Of course, Chef Ramsay would know better. He's a real chef, after all, unlike Joe here.
Sarah.
Hi, Chef.
So what do we got going on?
So I'm making bratwurst.
Next, Chef Ramsay tries to make Joe try it, but when he refuses, you won't believe what Ramsay called him.
Also super German, Bavarian classic.
Yes.
Yep, Chef Ramsay just straight up called Joe a snob to his face. No beating around the bush for him, whether it's contestants or judges. If he sees something off, he's gonna call it out. Well, that's Chef Ramsay for you, plain as hell. But you know what? MasterChef contestants are known to push their cooking skills to the limit, trying to impress some of the best chefs in the world. Now, these dishes had amazing flavors and perfect presentation, setting a high standard for everyone else. But not all dishes have the same effect. Just like this dish right here.
I am making baked macaroni and cheese with a major twist.
And what's the twist?
Breast milk.
The audition I'm talking about was particularly interesting because of the strange dishes and people. Season 4 of this show had many weird moments.
This is what we're making today. Fresh rabbit.
But one day was more surprising than the rest. Here's why. But this contestant topped that. You wouldn't guess what she was about to do just by looking at her. She came in with a big pink bow on her head, looking cheerful and innocent. She presented a simple dish, a piece of toast. But she hinted that there was a big twist, which made everyone curious.
I am making baked macaroni and cheese with a major twist.
And what's the twist?
Breast milk.
When asked about the twist, she revealed that the secret ingredient was breast milk. The timing of her reveal was perfect. Just as she said it, this is how Gordon and the judges reacted.
Milk.
Their faces showed a mix of disbelief and humor, making it one of the funniest moments of the season.
We use a .22 gun, one quick shot to the head and they're gone.
This incident made me curious about using breast milk in cooking. This is what Reddit says about what people thought about it, and to my surprise, breast milk dishes are actually a thing. The reactions range from shock and laughter to genuine interest. Some people shared stories of trying breast milk differently, while others talked about the health and ethical issues of using it as an ingredient. The reactions were mixed. Some liked the novelty, while others felt uncomfortable. Another person mentioned making ice cream at home with breast milk, saying it was surprisingly creamy and slightly sweet. In this next episode of MasterChef Australia, contestants were asked to create a gourmet dessert, and guess what? Who'll be judging the desserts? Marco Pierre White. He's a total legend in the culinary world. When he showed up as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia, it was a big deal. The contestants were freaking out, feeling the heat, and the whole vibe got way more intense and exciting.
Crushed garlic. Sliced very thin, please.
It was nerve-wracking and exhilarating for the competitors to know they had to present their meals to such a prominent chef. Creating a dessert that would wow a man who has experienced only the best in the food industry was not enough.
Did I shout? Yes. Did I scream? At times. Service is service, and in service, chefs shout. This is Gordon.
Well, it was a do-or-die moment for our contestants. As they hustled hard in the kitchen, you could cut the tension with a knife. Since it was the final showdown, and only a few would get the chance to lay their creations in front of Marco freaking Pierre White.
The last dish we'd like to taste.
The suspense was off the charts when the judges started picking dishes to taste one by one. Let's go ahead and see which contestant got a shot to redeem himself.
Belongs to Charlie.
Charlie had barely dodged elimination the previous week. Now, it was his chance to prove he had what it takes with an easy-looking dessert.
It is a honey semifreddo, lemon crumb, candied lemon, and a lemon and honey caramel.
Everyone was curious to see how his dessert would fare, given his recent brush with elimination. Oh man, what a moment of hush it would have been in the room, as the judges dug into Charlie's dish. All were waiting for them to drop some expressions. They were clearly taken aback, and for a moment, they were at a loss for words. The silence spoke volumes. I just can't wait more for the judges' reaction. Let's see it together. Marco Pierre White, known for his candid and often critical feedback, was the first to break the silence. He began to speak, and his words were nothing short of glowing.
This, without question, is the greatest dessert I've ever eaten in MasterChef.
Charlie's dessert got some wild reviews from Marco. He straight up called it one of the sickest desserts he'd ever tasted, which is like the ultimate shout out coming from a big shot like him. Man, it was a real moment of applause. The other judges were all nodding in agreement, totally matching Marco's sentiments. They were seriously blown away by Charlie's creation, not just clapping for the dessert, but also for Charlie's epic comeback.
If I went to a Michelin-starred restaurant today and ate that, I wouldn't question it.
For Charlie to go from almost getting the axe to getting big-time acknowledgement from one of the world's most respected chefs was a real shocker. Charlie was over the moon, and why would he not be? Getting those rave reviews from Marco Pierre White was like hitting the jackpot for him. It was like all his blood, sweat, and tears in the kitchen finally paid off big time.
The smoothness, the balance of honey and lemon, the crunch.
The judges' props and the crowd going wild were solid proof of his skills and grit. It was a major victory, a moment he'd be remembering for years to come.
I've got nothing to say. Yeah, I've got nothing to say either. How can you finish?
The episode was a real boost and inspiration for Charlie. His journey from almost getting kicked out to culinary greatness was a reminder that you gotta keep grinding and stay passionate in the kitchen game.
Really, it feels awesome, you know, to be at the bottom of the pack and kind of questioning everything.
Marco Pierre White's presence and genuine acknowledgement brought some serious magic to the episode, making it a standout and hella inspiring chapter in MasterChef Australia's history, but especially for Charlie this season.
After that first cook, and then to hear those words from Marco, it's just...
Well, desserts got this special knack for putting smiles on faces. They bring pure bliss, mostly because we're all about that sweet tooth life. Whipping up desserts is like an art form, and not everyone's got the skills to nail it. On MasterChef Australia, contestants are always tackling tough dessert challenges. There was this one episode where a woman went all out and tried to master a tricky white chocolate panna cotta during her audition.
My name's Zoe.
This contestant had her family there to support her, which added a touching element to her story. Her grandma, in particular, was always hyping her up. It was amazing to see her family lifting her spirits like this, giving motivation, and keeping her updated on the time throughout the process. Well, I've gotta say this, Zoe is one lucky girl.
Today I'm making a white chocolate panna cotta.
This kind of support and hype can seriously amp up someone's morale, especially in a cutthroat competition like this.
Grandparents,
you can do it, Aria.
Without further ado, let's get into how Zoe makes panna cotta.
You can do it now. Can I show it?
Well, I must say, constant motivation can turn the tables, and the most awaited time arrived. The time for judging the dish.
Oh, she's been careful. What's on there?
Zoe was totally jittery, but still rocked some confidence. She knew that win or lose, her fam would have her back and be stoked about her hustle. That tight-knit family vibe was a real highlight of her journey. The moment of truth came when the judges, including Matt, who has a particular fondness for panna cotta, examined her dish. The judges, after taking a bite, were impressed. Let's see what they had to say more about it.
It's definitely a yes for me.
She was left speechless, overwhelmed by the positive feedback.
It's an absolute delicious panna cotta. It's one of the best we've had in the competition. I love it. It's a big yes.
George, one of the judges, took it a step further by congratulating her entire family. He invited them into the room, leading to a big round of applause. Wait and see what Granny did, which created a touching moment that filled the room with warmth and joy.
Come and get him.
The atmosphere was filled with love and support as her family gathered around her. George's gesture of inviting her family into the room and their collective embrace of the judges highlighted the importance of family in her journey. It was a beautiful moment that showcased the power of family support in achieving one's dreams. Here's what people had to say about this family. This contestant's journey on MasterChef Australia was not just about her cooking skills, but also about the strong bond she shared with her family. Their unwavering support helped her face the challenges and succeed. She earned the coveted white apron, marking the beginning of her path to becoming a master chef. Next up, in this episode of MasterChef Canada, the contestants were given the challenge to mix up cuisines and experiment with different flavors.
Got a feeling about you that you might pull this out.
You know what, I got to. I just never give up.
So, there's this one contestant who decided to tackle the challenge with something kinda wacky, a pina colada semi-freddo. Now, let me tell you, this dessert looked pretty funny, not gonna lie. It wasn't exactly winning any beauty contests. But hey, as we all know, looks can be deceiving in the kitchen. Sometimes, the ugliest dishes turn out to be the tastiest.
My savory dish is a rum-marinated pork taco with a tropical salsa.
The contestant was totally on edge when she handed her dish over to the judges. One of them, picking up on her nervous vibe, straight up asked if she whipped it up at the last minute.
I plan and think really quick and think like a chef.
She kept it real, owing to the fact that she had to switch things up last minute and whip up something totally different. The judge respected her honesty and got ready to dig into her new creation. As the judge slid a spoonful of that semi-freddo into his mouth, it was like time froze. The room went dead silent, every eye glued to him. He took his sweet time, savoring every bite, trying to unravel the mystery of those flavors. It felt like forever as we all held our breath, waiting for his verdict. To everyone's shock, the judge was into the dessert. Even though it looked kinda weird, the flavors were all on point, and he dug the whole pina colada vibe of the semi-freddo.
It tastes like a really great tropical ice cream. Great big punch.
He gave appreciation to the contestant for bringing some bold flavors and getting creative with mixing stuff up to make this killer dessert. The way the coconut, pineapple, and rum all came together was straight up fire, making it a total win for that pina colada vibe.
Cheap flavors. The rum, the coconut, the pineapple, that's all coming through. The only problem is that you can't serve a dish like this the way it looks.
However, that's not all that happened. Guess what? While he enjoyed the flavors, he pointed out that the presentation was a significant issue. The dish's appearance was not appetizing and looked like a whack, which is obviously not appealing to anyone.
Don't forget, there's other cooks behind you.
Here's more of what he said.
Better than yours, but the taste may not be there.
I can't believe I'm top 12.
The judge encouraged her to work on her presentation skills, suggesting that with a better visual appeal, her dish could have been a standout. He explained that in a professional setting, no matter how delicious a dish is, it needs to look good to entice customers and make them want to eat it. The contestant listened carefully, taking in both the praise and the critique. She was relieved that her dessert was well received in terms of flavor, but she also understood the importance of improving her presentation. She thanked the judges for their feedback, determined to do better next time.
My savory dish is a rum-marinated pork taco with a tropical salsa.
This episode highlighted the importance of both taste and presentation in cooking. While the contestant's pina colada semi-freddo was a hit in terms of flavor, its poor presentation served as a reminder that a dish needs to be visually appealing to be fully appreciated. The judge's feedback was valuable, providing her with insights on how to balance both aspects in her future creations.
My pastry cream is almost completely frozen.
This episode was a testament to the challenges and rewards of culinary innovation and the ongoing journey of mastering the art of cooking. So, can you think of more insane moments from the show? Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you like this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications.